All right, welcome back. So, in the last lecture, we have learned how to rate our responses to BART and then give them the feedback, the relevant feedback. In this lecture, we will see another button that is next to the rating of the feedbacks, rating of the responses, and giving feedbacks. There is the export response, right? So, what does the export response does to you? So, you have a prompt, you have a response, and when you uh, click export response, you have an option to export to docs and draft in Gmail. So it's what is important to remember here, that if you export content from BART, the terms and policies of the service you export to will apply to that content, right? So, so to export, there are two options: export to docs. So you can just click on export to docs, and then it will save the doc in a new document in Google Drive. So it has a new document created. You can choose to go for Open Docs, and this is the whole response that we have. That is brilliant. I mean, I do not have to copy, open up a new doc, and then paste it there. It's already here, and it does have all those collaboration and export and editing formatting capabilities that I know about docs.google.com, and I can then choose to use it further. And then there'll be more export options in the future, but to begin with, Google Docs is certainly a great idea. What is another option is a draft in Gmail option. So I have my Gmail linked, and then the new email is created. I will click on Open Gmail, and this is the new email that I will be working with, which has a text from the BART prompt response that we just received. So a Google Workspace is opening for us, and the email is being drafted with us. All right, it's just taking a little longer than expected. In the meanwhile, I will look at more things over here. So this is quite straightforward. Generate a response and then click on this button to export the response uh, to Docs and Gmail. What I'll also do in the meanwhile is I will show you another thing is I will reset this chat for now, and I will give a prompt for a Python code, right? So write a Python code that generates even numbers from 1 to 100. A simple example of a Python code generates even numbers, and I want Bard to give me a Python code for that. And this is a very simple example of a Python code, but you can choose to ask Google Bard to write an entire Python code for a machine learning project, a big one, and it does some amazing job. So if you ask Google Bard to write a Python code, it gives you a whole code, a properly formatted code, right, with comments and indentation, etc. And then also describes the code and gives an example of the output to the code. Now, with this, there are two options. Number one is that you can choose to copy the code, right? So this whole code is copied directly. Another thing to note here is that you can also choose to export the export to Collab. So a new Collab notebook will be saved in Drive, right? Uh, so you click on export to Collab. This will create a new notebook, and you can choose to open Collab, and then this will take you to collab.research.google.com. A new file is created, and then you can choose to do further what you want to do with this piece of code. So if you are already working on some code, you want to copy this block of code, you can simply copy and paste. Or if you want to begin with this particular code, if you have asked Bart to write a complete set of code from start to beginning, importing all the libraries and printing the final output, then you can choose to simply export it to Google Colab and then see how it works. Great. So this was about exporting the responses from Bart directly to Docs, to to Gmail, and as well to, if you have some code, then to Google Collab. Awesome. Thank you, and I will see you in the next lecture.